Hello and welcome to the No Name Gaming Podcast. I'm your host Ricky, and welcome back to another brand new episode and everything. You can catch us here every Thursday, except for last week. We did an offshoot. That's fine. Every Thursday here on YouTube, but also Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever where audio services, podcast services are available. We're on everything under. So, and particularly, and YouTube Music, and particularly for that one too. And then I believe we're on Amazon Music too. I gotta double check that and everything. There's a lot of things I need to check on stuff and for those things. I don't know. So fascinating of what stuff we're on and everything like that. It's pretty cool, in my opinion. But anyways, thank you for joining us again for another episode. Hope you had a wonderful week. It's been I say we've been back for, it's been, 1 week, 2 weeks removed almost since the showcase, weekend showcase of shows and stuff. I don't know what to call it nowadays and everything. So, but it's been, hope everyone's had a good time. Hoping everyone's been playing amazing games. As of right now, by the time we're recording this, Final Fantasy 16 is officially here. Exclusively to the PS5. I have not played it myself, but I do have the demo download finally. I've been up and down on it. I don't know what to think of it as much, but the demo will be played, and we'll find out where we go from there and all stuff. I still need to play Final Fantasy 7 Remake because I am interested in it, but it's hard to keep up with these especially RPG games and also, and especially right now, I have still got to finish Zelda, still got to finish Diablo and everything. And if I add this, it's like more to it. But then again, I don't have to trip that much really about it because it's just more the fact of I have nothing. I pretty much, as of right now, from what I can tell, and that may change between now and September 6th, I believe, or September 1st, if I do get the special edition. Starfield will be out by that time, and I have nothing between now and then. So that's cool. But we do have a couple things to talk about of what's happening. As of right now, what I've been playing so far is I'm catching up on Tears of the Kingdom. Finally completed all the memories and and I guess you could say spoilers, but everyone should know it by now. I finally obtained the Master Sword. I won't explain how I did it, but I after completing that and getting all the tier memories, kind of wish I did it in a different way of how that worked. But it's neither here nor there. It's done, but I got it done. I'm finally hitting the final region. I won't say which one. In order to defeat all the temples, so that way we have that all good to go and all that stuff. And I plan, depending on how this weekend goes, I don't know yet. I might be able to finally say I finished Tears of the Kingdom. We'll see though. Diablo, still going through that right now. The goal was always to play the campaign and then just go through as much as possible and everything. I never had the idea of hitting max level or anything. We'll see where that goes from then. But yeah, I'm still playing that. I've been enjoying it a lot more. I'm just trying to understand the looting process of what to grab and what's good, what's not good with equipment. I think that's the one thing I'm trying to learn right now, also of how that works and what's best. Because if I'm correct, transmog, which is a little feature where you can equip different pieces, but you can change the appearance of it and all that stuff. So that way you don't have to because each thing is so different. But say you have a piece, say a piece of armor that you like of how the style looks, but you want it on this particular item that's more powerful, you can actually change the appearance of that more powerful one to look like the one that you like a lot. I use it a lot. I use it a lot in uh Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I love that feature very much. But I think that's not until like later in the game. Like you have to hit a certain level to do it. I think we talked about the new season of Call of Duty. We talked about the new season of Fortnite. All fine. Halo's new season is here. Career ranks Infection are the big ones. I played Infection. I think I need to play more to understand it. Uh, because I've never played Infection before in previous Halos and everything. Because my history, particularly with Halo and Call of Duty, in the early days of like Halo 1, 2, 3, ODST, those ones in particular, I've always played the stories. I'd never played like multiplayer back then. Same thing with Call of Duty franchise. From Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, uh, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 back then, Black Ops 1. I've always played the story, and that's it. Never did much for it. It's not that I didn't care about multiplayer. It's just I was so more of a single player person back then, which I still am now. The new Warzone map, I think it's fine. I got both guns now. The new guns, which I think they're pretty nice to me at least. But probably a little more time on it and all stuff. I do not like the rotation this week because all three maps are available, but Ashika's only on quads, which is weird and all that stuff. Now I think it's more of a server capacity of how many players you can hold, which is why they trickle it down to like certain spots of what type of team play based things you're playing, where you're playing solos, duos, quads, trios, but it's neither here or there, and that's fine. I'm just saying I would like to play Sheikah Island solos for a bit and all that stuff, though I'm loving Vondel. That's pretty much it. But anyways, let's get down to our two big things. Two big things so far this week to talk about, for me at least. We have XDefiant, which just now started its open beta as we were recording. It is until Friday, I believe. I could be wrong on that as I look for that. But I have been playing it since before we recorded and for that stuff. And yeah, so it is until Friday. Yeah. So it's only until Friday, which is weird. I don't know. I'm surprised they're not pushing it into the weekend and all that stuff. It's so weird in how I see it. But as far as I've been playing it, I will say this, and I said this, and it's been my title for my streams when I play it on stream. And I said it's not COD, and that's okay, and all that stuff. In my opinion, I don't feel like it's COD. So and how I'm comparing that is COD now, not COD in the past. Multiplayer was not my thing back then during the early days of COD. And that's the original Modern Warfare trilogy from then on. And technically, like, my forehead, I've played multiplayer before, but for me, my delp dive and pushing me more into multiplayer was on Black Ops 4. And then now this new era of Call of Duty, starting with Modern Warfare 2019 for that stuff. So that's my multiplayer experience, really. So I'm more familiar to now than I was back then. And when people play XDefiant, they're saying how it feels more of old school COD. And I will admit, to me at least, it does have a different feel to COD now. Guns with no attachments feels totally different on XDefiant than it is on COD, in my experience, and how I play. But because for this beta, they decided to unlock everything so that way you get the feel and grab for it. And again, like I said, played with no attachments. I felt off and didn't feel like I was getting comfortable with the guns for that. And I think that'll probably just foray more into it if I keep playing. But once I added attachments to certain guns, I started getting a feel and a better vibe for it and understanding. I think it's more for the fact that I'm starting to understand more about attachments and how they work and what feels better for me. How else in COD is like you put attachment on, it feels the same no matter what, in my opinion. And I think that's kind of cool for how I see it for that, because none of that stuff is bad in my opinion. It's all works nice. It plays, feels comfortable. I actually the maps they've have so far in the beta are interesting and very, what's the word I'm looking for? Playgroundy. I get more have a more playground feel to it, which is actually pretty cool. And everything. It's not as complicated as a Call of Duty map nowadays. Like Call of Duty maps feel more complicated. Oh, I need to go to the store, break this glass, and do this and everything like that. How I feel with XDefiant, it's just one way, another way, the 3 lanes as they say, and then there's a few other things, but they're not much of a hassle to get through. We have, I think it's like 6 or 7 modes currently right now. I've only played Occupied and Domination. Mostly Escort's another one. For those ones, I enjoy. Occupied is always gonna be my favorite because it's hardpoint. I always love hardpoint. Escort is one of those. It's a progression style game. If you've ever played in Overwatch, when they move the car, it's similar to that. I'm not gonna lie. It's like with Call of Duty, it's like you could feel yourself just in one gun just to get through a match. How else with XDefiant, it always felt like, okay, based on the scenario I'm at right now, I probably should switch to this loadout, so that way I could be able to help out in this certain part of the match so far, or then switch to another one depending on the situation. For that, and then of course there's also the different factions with the different abilities. So far, I've only done the Libertad and the Ghost because I actually like the abilities that they provide. And so far, for Ghost, the only one I've used is the Shield. And then for Libertad, I use both of them where they have a capable med pack, pretty much in a way, where you could just pop it while you're going. And then for the other one, which is the El Rimadad, I think that's what's called. I could be wrong on the second one, where you just place a area. It's an area where it heals your teammates in around a certain area, and I've used it a lot for like Occupy, pretty much, because it's more, since we have to like stay at a certain point of the map in such similar to Hardpoint, and it's been a fun time for that stuff. I have my main guns right now are the M4 and the MP5, though I'm gonna start using the M7 a bit more. Snipers, I will say is a lot more tougher to use in XDefiant than it is on COD. Based off my experience right now. And a lot of people might say, I don't know if how people who've played Call of Duty longer than me, and particularly on the multiplayer side, might have difference on that. But for me, at least, based off how long I've played, sniping in XDefiant feels more difficult than it does in Call of Duty. But in XDefiant, I feel like I'm earning my shots depending on how I play and how I know what I'm doing when I'm trying to snipe. And that's fine and all that stuff. Now, with XDefiant, when it fully comes out, it's supposed to come out later this year, particularly maybe hopefully in the summertime. The thing is, it's gonna be free to play live service game, and the one thing that I find interesting is about, will this succeed and be sustainable in the future? For that, as far as we know, based off of my notes of what I have, within one season, and that lasts 3 months, we are looking at a map per month, a gun, 3 new guns. I don't know how it's going to work out, if it's monthly or at once, depending on when the season starts and all that stuff. And of course, a new faction within that season too. So you're getting new stuff. There's a potential way of getting new modes or anything like that. Some other stuff that might be coming along with it. We're looking at 4 seasons within the first year of the roadmap of what they have. So you're looking at some content. As far as we know, they're planning on doing a rank mode, private matches, along with some other stuff, new modes for everything like that, and that's all within the first year. But the one thing I've heard about this, another thing, I mean, will most of the stuff come at launch? I don't know. Do I feel like it's going to be happening later on? Will it be too late for it to have ranked, and particularly coming too late? It depends, because this is something in a similar genre in gaming that has already a ranked mode and all that stuff, to have ranked modes and all this other stuff. It's still something new, and I think within the beta itself, I feel like there is something that they want to make sure it feels right, and that way they can continue on adding the new things of such as ranked and particularly, and that way they can be able to get the pieces together and see what they can do with it. It's going to be interesting of how this plays out. Now, well, a lot of people are saying like, well, is this the thing that kills COD? I honestly don't care, as long as there's a dedicated fan base, which I've so far I believe there will be, and it's enough for them to keep continuing providing service to this game. Because that's the one thing that's going to be interesting about this, since it is for the fact of free to play. The only other similar game in particularly, then there's more others and all that stuff, but the ones two I'm thinking of more particularly are Halo Infinite. The multiplayer is free to play, and then Splitgate. Splitgate, which is pretty much the Portals and Halo style kind of game and all that stuff. Splitgate is making a sequel while the first one is no longer being supported. And then, of course, we all know the situation with Halo Infinite and the multiplayer in particularly. Not enough content, though. It seems like they're starting to grab a repertoire and bring more a feel to it, to a flow. As the new current season they're on looks like they're doing enough, but we'll see how that goes for that. But that's too. But for XDefiant in particular, I think it's an interesting game. It's going to be fun. I do see myself playing it more, especially for the fact that it's free to play. But I would be interested in seeing on what they improve on, whether it be like a whole new mode entirely. I'm not saying I don't think a battle royale will do much for the game, in my opinion, but I could be wrong, or just bring some new stuff, story stuff. The fact that you're combining different worlds from within the Ubisoft catalog, such as The Division, Splinter Cell, Ghost Recon, Far Cry. The first three I mentioned are within that Tom Clancy universe, and all that stuff. But I feel like you can probably get a story out of that and all that stuff. Hell, it might work out and do some collab kind of thing with Rainbow Six Siege if they could. I don't know, but I feel like the game has promise, but that's the thing, is the fact that it's an arena shooter game, and in this world where battle royale rules all and everything, it sucks to see if what happens to this game, and it's just because of the fact of everybody wants a battle royale of it and all that stuff. And then people would love to say that, like how for Halo Infinite as another example, how it did not launch with a battle royale, and people were upset about that. For me, it was more the fact like, well, do I really need another battle royale at this time? I think Fortnite, Apex, Warzone, despite the issues it goes through and all that stuff, are between all three of those battle royales, it's enough for me and all that stuff. And I mean, it's not that I would be against a Halo BR, and I would welcome it with open arms, but I would rather have, particularly shooting games, different variances and all that stuff. Yes, Call of Duty does have its own arena shooter base, but since with the fact of it does go more of with a realistic style to it, it's not as interesting. And I think with XDefiant, not only you get more of a arcadey style, but with the different factions and the power and the abilities it brings. bring some difference to that. And who knows what could happen with it, all that stuff. I think it's just more the fact that people just need to play the games you want to play and all that stuff. And this is not for you, that's fine. But if anyone else is like going to play this game and say they join and you don't think that's something they would want, it's like that's not something you would want for someone. All that stuff. I get that people was like, oh, it doesn't have a BR, but not everything is a BR. In all honesty, if I'm being really honest, and all that stuff, I say let XDefiant do its thing and all that stuff. If it does have a battle royale in the plans, then go ahead and do it. But if not, let them continue with what they have now and then improve on that and all that stuff. I mean, this dev team does seem like it's the team behind this game is more looks like they're listening to fans and being transparent about certain things about what's going on. I know there's been issues with the game right now, all stuff with the servers and everything, but the fact that this is an open beta now where it's open to everyone to play, since because previously it's all been like closed test betas and all that stuff, or like behind the scenes stuff where certain and a lot of people are invited to play the game and try it out for that stuff. But so it's like this is more of a tough test because it's for them to. I think an open beta is worth it, so that way they know of like how will the servers perform with this amount of people, what will happen if we do this, and everything, and it provides quality provides quality information for them when it comes to officially launching this game and all that stuff. But hey, if people, this is all, it's all about preference. It's all about what people enjoy. And if they like it, that's fine. If not, oh well, and all that stuff. They need to keep, as long as the dev team keeps doing what they're doing to make this a game better, not just for fans themselves that love it, but also find a way to make sure you also still have a way of bringing new people in or people coming back. So that way it works. Hopefully hopefully it's the same like that with every other game that's out there, though it doesn't ever seem like it, but that's why you have to hope for it. All that stuff. But yeah, that's XDefiant. It's, as of we're recording this, it's available right now as an open beta. It ends on the 23rd of June. Still no official release date on when it comes out. And again, it'll be free to play. So there's that. For that. Next, another thing I want to talk about is there was a Nintendo Direct, and if those who don't know what a Nintendo Direct is, this is normally a video that appears where Nintendo talks about upcoming games for their console, the Nintendo Switch. I haven't watched. I watched it. It should be live. My reaction should be live on my YouTube channel right now by the time this episode is out. And there's two things that only struck me. They're Mario games. One is the remake of Super Mario RPG. This is a game that came out back in 1996. So though it came out in 96, I've never played it and everything. I've heard about it, but never played this game before in my life and all that stuff. When I seen this, I thought it seemed like it was just going to be a game that was coming to the SNES expansion pass, which would have been fine and all that stuff. A new game for me to check out and play, and all stuff. But the fact that it's a brand new remake and it does come out this year, October 20th of 2023, which is the release date for that. I have to say, I'm very intrigued and interested about it because of the fact that it is a Mario game, but it is more set with an RPG genre style to it. And I don't know if I want to say I'm a big RPG person. I mean, Mass Effect is one of my favorite ones. I've played some Japanese RPG games before, Legend of Dragoon, for example, which is one of my favorite ones. Final Fantasy, of course, people know about, but I've never, but because they're so long and everything for that, because they're big, they're long and expansive and so much to do, in my opinion, at least. But I want to give this, I actually want to give this a shot and check it out and see how much it is, see how much there is to it, and see why people enjoy it and loved it when it originally came out and everything. Because again, it's a game I missed out on as a kid and all that stuff. There's a lot of games I've missed out on and everything for that stuff And that stuff, if it happens to become a remake of something or gets re-released in the form it was previously, and all that stuff, I'm gonna give it a shot at least, or if it still intrigues me till this day, which this does. For that, another game that was announced was Super Mario Brothers Wonder. It was the last game shown at the event at the direct, and when I say that this game would be so much cooler if you were high is an understatement. The fact that it's called Super Mario Brothers Wonder already gives you the thing, because when you watch the trailer of itself, the trailer and how when it plays, it is crazy and interesting at the same time of the how the game play mechanics work with once you try to go through this what's called the Wonder Flower. That takes you to this like kind of ultra alternative dimension kind of look style of the level with some pretty much different uh gameplay mechanics in a way of how you travel through. For that, what's also cool about it is that there will be Daisy will be a playable character in the game. It looks like it's having a 4-player co-op and all that stuff. Local co-op, by the way, also because that was an interesting thing about heard about that direct. They were always emphasizing on the local co-op, and that's it. And all that stuff. I mean, they've mentioned like online co-op and all that stuff and everything with games, but when it came to 4-player local co-op, and all that stuff was like they always mentioned that, and they made it with emphasis. I was like, okay, I guess it's trying to remind us of you can play with more people on one console and all that stuff and everything. It doesn't have to be online all the time, which nothing's wrong with that, in all honesty. But boy, do I gotta tell you, that looked like a trip. We were tripping on some acid and all that stuff. Oh my god, it looks fun. It looks fun though. Was it? Wait, no. I think it's that comes out on 20th October. And the RPG is November. If I remember correctly. I'm double checking this as we talk through. So, because again, this is a game that I'm very much. These were pretty much the two games I was interested in. Really, when this got announced, when the playthrough, the direct swung by and everything for that. So it's very interesting. I mean, there were other games that were announced for this, and so the one thing that caught my November 17th is when the remake comes out. So yeah, so there's space between the two games in a way, so that way you have time to play both. The one thing that was found interesting was that I think it was two games, if not three games that were mentioned in the direct that have been previously announced. The new Sonic game, a Persona 5 Tactica, I can't even say it right, and the Metal Gear Solid Volume 1 collection. Now, what's interesting about this that all three games were announced on the direct, but they provided a little more context of what they were about. For the Sonic one, yeah, there was a narrator explaining about the details of what's in the game and what's provided and what you can know more. And unlike when it first got announced, which was Summer Game Fest, it was just a trailer, straight up trailer, no voiceover and everything. Gave us like the co-op announcement and everything like that at the end, but the voiceover provided more information on the Nintendo Direct. Same thing with the Persona 5 spinoff, shown off at the Xbox Showcase. Though it's just a gameplay trailer of what's showing, this one was had a voiceover to it and explained and provided more details for it and provided details on the game. And same thing with the Metal Gear Solid collection, though it was very small announcement at the end of the Snake Eater remake trailer. Got another voiceover with with details on the game itself. Now, people would probably, when they see this, they're like, well, I already saw this. Yeah, because you've watched the PlayStation Showcase, the Summer Games Fest Showcase, and the Xbox Showcase, in which they showed where they were shown at. Metal Gear Solid at the PlayStation, Sonic at the freaking Summer Game Fest, and then Persona 5 Tactics was at Xbox Showcase. I don't and I don't say this for, I'm not speaking for everybody in the world and all that stuff and everything. This is probably true for a certain amount of people. People who probably watched that Nintendo Direct or have not probably watched the other stuff. Maybe, I don't know for sure, but I think there is a chance, there is an amount of people that do that. They only, if it's a Nintendo Direct particularly, they will probably just watch that. They have probably not watched the other stuff and don't know about what's announced there. Or they know, they finally heard about it, didn't pay, and that's it. And then the video they got lucky with the Direct to know, like, oh, this is what the game's about from the voiceover. And there's nothing wrong with that. Also, like, someone is happy about that. Me, I was more interested in the fact that they had somebody talking about it and explaining what it is and everything like that. That was my intrigue by that. For that, that was the only thing. And I was like, oh, cool, they're talking. So they're actually like just talking about it, at least. That's what most Nintendo Directs are. Go through, talk about certain things, some games and all that stuff to give you more in depth of it. Not in depth, but give you more info and what they're about and everything. That's it. Also, Pikmin 4. I might download the demo when it comes out and check that out too. Seemed interesting. The whole, you can pick up the Pikmin, or you have this pet that can take you around everywhere now. And then there's a nighttime mechanic to it where it's interesting, and they've never done the game in dark mode, nighttime before. So it's interesting. That's pretty much what it is. And that's pretty much what the show's about. There was other things that were there that were cool, but not interest me and all that stuff. But I will say that the 2 Mario games are interesting, were the ones that caught my attention the most. The fact of seeing the Sonic, Persona, and Metal Gear being at the Direct doesn't surprise me, in all honesty. But I can see where people would be like, this was already announced. Why are you showing this again? And all that stuff. But I can only understand that if you have seen the previous 3 showcases of the big ones, particularly Sony, Game Fest, and Xbox. I get it, but still, it's like, hey, this is for our audience. Our audience probably have not seen the other stuff. And all that stuff. Or probably never saw the trailer before. And all that stuff. Because there are people that like that. And all that stuff. Like, I believe it. And everything. But all that stuff. But other than that, this has been the No Name Gaming Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Ricky. Catch us every Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on here for video on YouTube. You can go catch us on audio via Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. I am going to double check this to make sure. And then wherever we're available for other podcast services under the No Name Entertainment name for podcast. And you can catch for the No Name on the YouTube channel. You can catch us under No Name Entertainment also. But if you happen to you can also check us out on YouTube Music, as they're now doing podcasts. We're under you can search us under No Name Gaming. No Name Gaming Podcast. Get all that stuff. And that's where you can find us. And if you happen to be checking that out on YouTube, drop a like, leave comments, subscribe to the channel. That way you know when these go live. Don't forget, if you're happy to be on the other stuff, on the audios, drop a rating, comment below if you have options available to you and everything. And that keeps us going and everything like that. But other than that, my name is Ricky, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.